Application tracking form I gave.
Okay, do I need to turn anything on?
You're one.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the River City Regional Stadium Financing Authority for Thursday, May 30th, 2019 to order. Would the clerk please call the roll and establish a quorum?
Board Member Sandin? Here. Board Member Kennedy?
Here.
Vice President Cabaldon?
Here.
Board Member Villegas?
Here.
President Cerna?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to welcome my fellow board members and the great public turnout that we have this afternoon. First item on our agenda, please, Madam Clerk.
The first item today is the selection of officers. We'll be looking for the nomination of Board President and a Board Vice President.
Okay. Before we begin, just let me say it's been an honor to serve as president, I believe, for the last 2 years. And I know that I do have a sheet here in front of me that I know probably significant work went into this to make it very deliberate. But I am going to probably forego this and just ask if there's any interest or nominations that board members would like to entertain.
I'd like to nominate you, Mr. President. It's been an excellent 2 years. Our credit rating and bond rating is all.
Yes.
I mean, we could do a little bit more winning over at the stadium, but you've done an outstanding job, and I think it's something we talk about in West Sacramento all the time. Is even to this day, the fundamental role that Sacramento County played in making possible, which was something that we could not even have dreamed of accomplishing on our own. It was absolutely impossible, and without Sacramento County, not only would Raley Field not be here, but everything that Raley Field has unlocked in our waterfront, in our downtown, in our collective sense of spirit and expectation and possibility. So it's a great debt that the community of West Sacramento owes to Sacramento County, and so I would like to nominate you to be reelected as chair.
Okay, I appreciate the confidence expressed in me for the post. Let me first ask, is there any other nominations, any other interest? Just a question for the clerk, is there any problem serving 2 back-to-back terms as president?
No, you can do back-to-back terms, and I would also be looking for somebody to second the motion if that's.
Second.
Who said that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. We have to do vice president as well?
In case something happens to you, yeah.
Just in case.
Mr. President, I would like to nominate Mr. Cabaldon to serve, our current vice president, to continue his service in that role.
Okay, it's been moved by,
Second?
okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes. Thank you. All right, minutes, approval of minutes for the May 21st, 2018 special meeting of the authority. Any members have any suggestions for additions, deletions, any changes? If not, entertain a motion.
Move the item.
Been moved. Chair will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. On to item 3. This is the presentation of the treasurer's report for calendar year 2018.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item, the treasurer's report, I just, again, recognize Roberta Raper, your treasurer, who's here. This report is required to provide the authority with some key information about the finances of the ballpark and how it relates to the different financing agreements that were put in place related to the bonds. And so it's all in front of you, but just to highlight the big ones. One is the audit report for calendar year 2018 that's provided by the baseball entity's audit firm, Moss Adams, noting that they've reviewed the stadium finances against a series of definitions that are in the stadium lease, and that there's no instance of default. Another item that we report to you is that the revenues from the River Cats operation are being transmitted the way they should to the trustee bank in order to make bond debt service payments. And so we see the traffic between the custodial bank and the trustee bank, and all of that is occurring as it should, and we're able to make our debt service payments. And then there's a revenue fund, of course, that goes to make debt service, and so that's it's typically funded in a way that allows us a split of 50/50 of the ballpark revenue between the River Cats operations and the trustee bank. And the trustee bank is where the debt service money goes. And so we're seeing that all of that is occurring on a consistent timeline, so we're not seeing any change in terms of when the trustee has all the money to make the debt service. It's all consistent year to year. And then also what I point out is that there are 2 reserve accounts that were filled up or fully funded in the early days of the ballpark operations. And so there's a supplemental reserve and then also an attendance-based reserve fund. And both those were funded early on. And so we continue to track those accounts. And other than earning interest, they just are consistent from year to year. But, and then the one thing I'd point out is that we also have a surety with AMBAC. And that surety is in place to help guarantee payments on the stadium. And so you have your main source of funding, you have your reserves, you have the AMBAC surety, in addition to guarantees that are provided by City of West Sacramento, Yolo County, and Sacramento County. And with that, if you have any questions about the report.
Any questions for staff?
Down to 3 million.
Terrific report. It's always good to know that with the thorough audit that we're performing as we should, and all of our financial partners are functioning as they should. And so I want to thank everyone that's been responsible for getting us to a place of very sound fiscal footing as it relates to this particular mission of this authority. Do we need is this for just presentation? Do we need a motion for action?
It's an informational report.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're on to new business. Would the clerk please read the item?
So this item deals with municipal administrative expenses related to the Series 1999 bonds. And so the city establishes a budget to pay for things like the trustee bank fees. We pay for annual continuing disclosures that we have to provide related to the bonds. And then also we have occasional legal expenses related to sometimes real estate matters or the matter that's on your agenda dealing with a custodial bank. It's a later agenda item. So the proposed budget is $11,200. It's consistent with last year. We don't have anticipated increases. And again, we just would ask that you approve the budget for the next fiscal year for 1920.
Very good. Just for the record, it is the consideration of approval of budget for municipal administration expenses for fiscal year 2019 and 2020. Any questions of staff? If not, entertain a motion.
Just to confirm from what we have in the packet that the River City Stadium Management has concurred with the budget, correct?
They do. They have provided us with a letter of concurrence.
All right, I'll move approval.
Okay. Been moved by Board Member Cabaldon. Chair will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Very good, thank you. Next item is item 5, consideration of approval of appointment of Bank of New York Mellon Corporate Trust as successor custodian under the stadium lockbox agreements.
Thank you. This item is requests your approval of what we consider a minor administrative change in the custodial bank from U.S. Bank to BNY Mellon. So U.S. Bank has been the custodian in charge of the stadium lockbox since about 2002, when the last change was made in that custodial bank. And so what this does is It would put BNY Mellon in place to manage the flow of funds that come from the River Cats operations to the lockbox. And then, as I noted earlier, 50% of those funds go to the trustee handling the bonds, and then 50% stays with the River Cats until the bond account is fully funded, in which case 100% of the funds go to the River Cats. And so BNY Mellon would be in the position to manage the lockbox and those revenues. As we did in 2002, the treasurer at that time provided a signature concurring or recognizing the change, but it was brought to the authority for you to confirm that there is a change in the custodial bank.
So just to be clear, this action was precipitated by disposition of U.S. Bank. They no longer wanted to be the custodian.
That is correct.
Okay, all right, very good. Any other questions?
So does BNY Mellon then appear in two places in the flow chart for these transactions? Because they were in the treasurer's report as well, as signing off on the 50% on the lockbox piece already?
So very, very good. So in this instance, BNY Mellon would be both the custodial bank and then the trustee bank. We would still have the required reporting that would come to the city that we report to you, but they would be one and the same, the custodial bank and the trustee bank.
And there's no conflict to have the trustee bank notify the custodial bank that it can transfer money, that the River Cat, that the 50%'s been satisfied and now they can transfer money back to the trustee bank, or?
Yeah, the attorneys, your counsel, Chronic Moskowitz, Tiedemann, and Gerard reviewed the agreement, and they did not recognize that there was any conflict of interest.
So there's no discretion, in neither of those instances are they exercising discretion that affects the other?
That's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, entertain a motion.
Move approval?
Been moved by Board Member Kennedy,
Second.
second by Board Member Villegas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 6, it's an informational presentation by the River Cats on the status of stadium operations and business plan. That's your cue.
Am I live?
We're live.
I feel like I get up and do a similar presentation every year. You know, things have been going pretty smoothly for us. We continue to, improve the stadium year after year, and we sort of have a set program of items we want to improve. And so, for example, this off season we invested quite a bit of money in doing a new video board, and we're able to reuse some of the old video board and put it along the suite fascia.
And someone is reviewing very carefully the content of the video board, right?
That was definitely discussed internally the other day. Are we watching these videos all the way through? I feel bad for what went on down there, but in Fresno, but definitely a lesson. But yeah, so this last year our big marquee item was a new video board, and it provides us the ability to enhance the fan experience, and then also an advertising asset as well, and so it's more of an immersive advertising experience for our sponsors, and so that was a critical step for us. We continue to add more kids areas, out in the down on the farm, and our goal is to have a clean, safe, family-friendly environment, and so we're sticking to that with the hope of, once these bonds are paid off, that the stadium will keep fixing it up and maintaining it so that it will last that much longer. And so that's our goal in this process. So right now, on the baseball side, we are actually tied for first place. Don't look at what our record is, but we are tied for first place at the moment. So that's the important component to focus on. yeah, we have had a slightly better year this year, and the Giants have made some changes in their front office, which there's a trickle down effect with how they acquire players, and so that's fun to see, and it's fun to be a little bit more competitive, and hopefully we can get back into the playoffs this offseason. And then we're continuing to try, when the stadium is not being used for baseball games, to attract events. And so we'll be announcing soon a pretty major event that we're bringing to the area and that we're really excited about. And then we're also working on, acquiring concerts, and we have a couple that are scheduled, and we're working on another one for October timeframe. And so that's, got to pay those stadium bonds, right? So that's keeping us busy, really, for the most part. But it's now good baseball weather, and we're happy that hopefully the rain clouds are behind us. So, any questions?
Any questions from Mr. Savage? Yeah, Director King?
Yes, Mr. Savage, I don't get to do this often, but once a year, to say, you guys continue to put a great product out there. The stadium looks great, but I particularly wanted to thank you and your staff and everybody at the stadium. Last Friday was a celebration of mental health for all, and specifically the County of Sacramento's, which is a great place to do it in West Sacramento, their program on their project of mental illness. It's not always what you think. It was done really tremendously respectfully, with great support. Your staff, please take back that they were extremely easy to work with, very helpful, and really enthusiastic about the subject matter. So greatly appreciated.
Great, thank you.
And I threw out the first pitch.
You got the ball across home
I made
plate.
it over.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, and programs like that, and that's one of our goals too, is to be a community member and to work with various organizations in the region, and that's really important to us. And tonight we're going to be donating money to Fairytale Town, and so it's that's important for us as well, to be involved and visible and give back to the community.
Thank you.
So thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from Mr. Savage? It's good to see you, and thanks again for a great report. And please express to all your employees and those responsible for putting on events and the day today that goes on for baseball during the season, our thanks for everything that they do.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Okay, does that conclude our business? I believe it does. If there's no further business before this board, no comments by board members, I'm going to adjourn it. Oh, sorry. I don't see anyone interested in addressing the board. No public comments. With that, we are adjourned at 4:16.